Meeting recording has started.
Okay, there we go. I just feel honored to be able to share this platform with these two awesome ladies. You know, they do so much and they have accomplished so much. So I appreciate that, ladies. Um, as I previously stated, my name is Gerald Red Buffalo. I come from the Sisseton Wapton Sioux tribe, located in the upper east corner of South Dakota. As you can see, I am a non-traditional college student, first generation at that. I did get a late start to my higher education, partly due to the fact that I started having children early. My companion and I do have nine right now, and she pursued her higher education first while I stayed home and worked and took care of the house. So she finished with her degree, and I believe now it's my turn to pursue what I want to do with my higher education. I was part of the previous cohort from last year, and I believe we were the first ones to engage in this program online. It was a rather different experience. I mean, I was never one really intrigued by online learning, but we were all forced into it because of our, the situation we were all in. So, and I feel that I really kind of found myself in that aspect, being able to keep myself on task and on schedule and that self discipline it takes to do things online. And this program really helped me to understand that about myself as well. Um, I became interested in this program because I engaged in a mini research project on my own accord before this program fell into my lap. And this media research project was funded from the Great Plains Tribal Chairman's Health Board and Epidemiology Center. It was scholarship based, and it it focused on health disparities within our tribe. And I presented a topic about relapse factors for people that are in recovery. And yeah, we were awarded the scholarship, and I went into that project completely blind, not knowing what it took to get a research project off the ground, and not understanding the type of work that it took to do human studies like that. And I was fortunate enough to have my sociology instructor that was really willing to guide me along every step of the way, and we I created a good relationship with him in doing that, and it was just awesome. So from there, I kind of vowed to learn more about research, because where I aim to go with my career, it's going to involve a lot of research. So I was really lucky this program, came about right after that. And I kind of wished it came before, but it happened the way it happened. It was okay. It was a good learning experience. So this program has helped me to realize how important research is, especially to our people, if we want to completely own our programs. Like myself, I wish to establish an effective behavioral health program that addresses mental health disparities derived from intergenerational trauma that persists within our tribe. Not only mine, but I know the majority of indigenous people throughout this continent. We need the raw data to establish these programs, and that's where this research is very important. And I'm beginning. I realize that now, and I just take really precedence over this program a lot. I'm grateful, really grateful. So this past May, I graduated from our tribal college here, the Siston Wapton College, with an Associate of Science degree in behavioral science. It's a 2-year program. Although recently this institution was approved this past summer to expand to a 4-year program with their behavioral science, their nursing, and their business administration programs. But they just got approved, so I don't believe they're going to kick off until next fall. But I was fortunate enough to participate in the forum from the accreditation board as a student representative on their behalf. And it was really interesting to be able to take part in that. It was awesome. So from Siston Wapton College last year, I was awarded the Student of the Year program, or Student of the Year award, from the American Indian College Fund. And I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with that, but that was it was pretty. surprising that I was nominated and actually got, received that award. But that from after that, the AICF Foundation gave me an opportunity to apply for a position within their organization as a student ambassador, still continuing my education. And I think out of like 40 something applicants, three of us were chosen, and it was pretty good. So I have that position right now as a student ambassador promoting their college fund. And yeah, just amazing opportunities been kind of falling into my lap this past year. It's pretty awesome. I am now a student at the University of Minnesota, Morris. It's located about an hour east of where I currently reside. I am a commuter to all my in-person classes, but most of them I will opt to take online if possible. My transfer experience, I'm still kind of gathering it right now because we just started classes like last week, and I was very nervous. I was really nervous going to a big university. I was, in the movies you always see, like in universities they have that theater like classroom, and there's like 100 kids in there. That's how I was managing it in my mind, and I think I was just overthinking it. I have one in-person class, and there's only like 23 classmates in there, so it isn't too bad. It was really welcoming. At our orientation, our Native American Student Success Services over there, they really had a warm welcoming for all of us new students, native and non-native alike, and it was quite a change of culture. But I'm here to apply myself to my 100 most percent, so I'm gonna move forward. A little brief history about the institution I chose to do my undergrad at. It was a boarding school quite some time ago, and I believe the state of Minnesota changed it into the university. So the the atmosphere there, they're pretty accepting of Native American students. They are trying to take accountability for what has happened, especially recently. With all the boarding schools being highlighted through all the social media and everything that's been happening lately. So they have been taking steps. They do a healing ceremony every year. They bring in Ojibwe, people from my tribe and the surrounding tribes there, and they do a 4-day healing ceremony every fall, just to kind of show some support in that area, which is pretty good, I think. So I really commend them for that. So I am majoring in psychology, and I want to focus on clinical psychology down the road. I'll get into some of the reasons why I chose my major here in a bit. So, the next slide here, as I previously mentioned, my companion and I, we do have 9 little humans in our guardianship. We squeeze into our 6-bedroom house pretty snugly, but it works. One thing for sure is that there's never a dull moment because we have a child in every stage of adolescence from 1 to 17 years old. One thing I absolutely made sure of was that my kids will know how to become independent. Once they hit that double digit age, they start doing chores and doing their own laundry and pretty much contributing to the functionality of our household, which seems to work fine. We implemented house meetings a while ago when our older kids start having a mind of their own. So we do that once a week, every Sunday. We all sit down, shut our phones off for about an hour, and we just discuss, we talk, we share our feelings. That way everybody's on the same page. And if there's conflict, we can resolve those at the moment there. We discuss our family problems. We show our support for one another openly, and we try to keep it as positive as we can. Of course, everything's not always positive, and there's always things that come up, and we try to handle those things as a family, unless of course it's personal. So there's many dry erase boards all over my house with numerous schedules written all over them. And I commend my wife because she is really the one that keeps me on task with everything and writes everything down, problems writing things down. But she really helps keep us all on our schedules. I have four high schoolers and two middle schoolers that play sports and involved in some sort of extracurricular activity on their own. So yeah, our schedules get pretty crazy, especially during our school year, and it's starting right now. So I'm getting trying to get the hang of things again. I try not to and in a lot of native families, especially myself, growing up, I was forced to kind of be that older sibling, that older cousin that took care of the younger ones. And, it just didn't give me enough time to be a kid. So I try not to push that on my older kids, unless we're employing them as a babysitter, paying them for their time. So, just we have like four toddlers from 1 to 5, 6, and 8. So I mean, it gets kind of hectic, but like I said, I wouldn't change it for anything because this is my life. This is our family. Uh, so balancing a full time job and a full time class took a lot of. Geez, it just took a lot to try to find my routine and my enthusiasm to keep moving forward. But this during the summer of 2020, I took an internship at our tribal treatment center, which is Dakota Pride Center. The picture down there on the bottom right there, that's our sign. The internship evolved into a full-time position as the male counselor at that institution. So I am now an alcohol and drug counselor trainee recognized by the Great Plains Credentialing Board. This is where I really start noticing a lot of why our people are stuck in a cycle of, addiction and dysfunctional behavior, because I myself went through that. I made some wrong choices after high school, and I wasn't the best student then, but I was involved with things I shouldn't have been involved with. And I see like a lot of this happening within our families on the reservation. And this is the main reason why I chose the major I'm going into was, working at Dakota Pride, and my own personal experiences and the things that I see my family going through. And it's a lot of it deals with these learned behaviors that we have, and nobody can pinpoint where they come from. These cycles of dysfunctional behavior that are just constantly repeating itself generation after generation. So I was able, with some professional help myself, I was able to recognize that within myself, within my mom, within my father, within my grandparents, and I can see where it's stemming from now. And I was able to break that inside myself, so my children don't have to go through that, so my children don't repeat that. And when I look at my siblings and my cousins, at my age, they're still caught in that vicious cycle. So I feel applying myself academically in this manner, along with my spirituality, I can take this, maybe an effective approach to help my people in this manner. Because I just feel so uplifted and seeing people that can realize that and they do make a change, our clients that are successful after, our treatment. Those are the ones that give me that drive to keep continuing and do, what I'm doing. As I stated, my grandfather was a spiritual leader, and it gave me a strong traditional background. So I, you know, I believe that the program that I want to create here within my tribe, can focus on a lot of that healing that we need within our people. Not only just for my tribe, but people everywhere. A lot of our native people. So time management, with the stress and everything, dealing with that is extremely important. And I've learned to always ask questions when I cannot find the answer, because you cannot be shy if you want things to get done. Otherwise, they're not going to get done. You need to be, assertive. You need to ask those questions to the people that are able to answer them. So I believe that's really important to be able to use your voice in that manner. I try not to overwhelm myself with overthinking situations too much, because most often people are understanding and will work with you if things get to be too much. Again, this is where it is important to express yourself with adequate words so that all who are involved are on the same page. That's really important. Then again, like Autumn expressed, that self-care is really important. With myself, I use my traditional spiritual practices to help maintain my own sanity. Um, I explained my perception of my spirit earlier. So throughout the year, my kids and I attend sweats and ceremonies regularly, usually for people who need it because of their own health issues. But I find that offering help with prayer and singing gives me a sense of clarification to my own humanity. So, and then once a year, I give my whole being for 4 days, to give back to our Creator for all the blessings we have through our Sundance ceremony. My mind, my body, my spirit go back to the elements for those 4 days. And it's an uplifting feeling afterwards to feel that connectedness. It's kind of hard to explain almost, it's just like a sense of pride and love for who we are, after that yearly ceremony in the summertime. It's almost, I don't know, I just can't explain it. It's some things that you have to experience to understand it. So that's one thing that I do a lot to keep myself grounded and to keep myself knowing where I need to go and who I am and what I need to do to get there. And then of course to handle my crazy life. So that helps a lot. Um, my family, we're really involved in our culture with singing, with sewing, with beading. We used to all dance at powwows, but we haven't really much lately. As our older kids got older, they kind of lost interest, and our careers took off, and we have a lot going on, so we don't really powwow much anymore. But we do try to get some singing in with me and my boys. I have 6 boys, and this is my family right here to the left. I have 3 girls and 6 boys, and that's my wife. But I just try to keep them involved as much as I can, and that creates that passion for not only our language, our culture, but it helps them to stay occupied with, just like myself too, so that we're not influenced by the negative things that happen on the reservation, because I'm sure that's the case everywhere. There's so much stuff, that this world isn't all beautiful. There's a lot of ugly stuff that float around out there. So I try to keep my kids involved with those positive things to kind of deflect some of that energy. But I have faith in each of you that you will find what makes your world easier. I just wanted to share a piece of my life with you and hope that in some way my story can help you or someone else down the road. Because most often in those relationships, that is how we find the most guidance and support with our current obstacles, is by sharing and listening to other people's story. Now, I'm always willing to give what I can to contribute to the progression of our native people, and we will share our contact information at the end of this presentation. So if you ever feel, that you connected with my story somehow, feel free to reach out. I'm always open to lend a helping hand to anybody. So that's just me in a nutshell. And I'll go ahead and turn it back over to Phoebe. Thank you.
Yay. All right. Autumn, you can go to the next slide when you're ready. So here I provided some scholarships, or actually the whole team did. And kind of when I'm applying for scholarships, I usually think like, okay, I'm going to apply for the Cobell scholarship. You can get awarded, 2,500. I divided it up into like 2 hours of really dedicating time for scholarships, which if you think about it, if you work on 2 hours for a scholarship and you get it, you spent about 12.50 per hour just really focusing on that. But here are some scholarships that some of them are open, some of them are closed. I know, Jared, you said you are pretty familiar with American Indian College Fund, um, But yeah, and another thing, I know, Jared, in your last slide, you just kind of said about traditional medicine on helping you, and I wanted to add, and I should have added another slide for this about like kind of self care, and this works for for me and myself, but I know for me going back home for any sort of ceremonies is so important for myself, my mental, my physical, my spiritual health, and my overall well being. And, even if I'm unable to travel either to the East Coast or to back to Seattle, or kind of just being in this loop with family extended apart, I know burning either sage or cedar in my own safe space was a way of to like clear my head, to get rid of all that negative energy, and to really, pray for myself, pray for my family, my relatives, and kind of just, I wouldn't be here without them. And this degree is not only serving my purpose for my own community, but also it's being a role model. And I think, being role models to all of you, and you guys being role models to us, the admins, as well, I think that's so important. um but also, just like, throwing cornmeal, I know I was always taught, greet the sun, greet Father Sky, Mother Earth, wake up early, um, wash your face, go for a walk, go for a run, and just taking that time for yourself, to really get started for your day, to get your blood moving, your brain moving. And I think for myself, I'm a very morning person, and I just for me, I know I think better in the morning, so that's definitely something. It takes time to practice, but I'm sure you guys can do it. If you need tips for that, I'm more than welcome to help. um just another thing too is like going from a tribal college to a bigger university. I noticed that just how different, like, trying to use like your traditional medicine in that matter. I did go to Erie, the Indigenous Wellness Research Institute at the UW, and it was a lot different. It was definitely more broad, and it was Indigenous people, so it just wasn't, Native students, but rather like Pacific Islanders, or we had some from New Zealanders, or just overall like First Nation people. So it's definitely a little bit different. But that was one of like my community spaces, which I never really got to be part of since I wasn't on main campus. Um, but other hobbies of self care that I used were like playing volleyball, doing photography, longboarding. I was so fortunate to be by large bodies of water. So, longboarding by the beach was my favorite thing to do in the summer. And kind of right now is just focusing on like, I guess, just that self care and doing a lot of hiking. And one other thing is I really love to make brunch. So, if you're ever in the Albuquerque area and you want to get brunch, or if I can make brunch for you, let me know. East Coast, Seattle, I know a couple of good places. But thank you guys, and I will let you guys go to the next slide as well. And these are just some like resources, like social media, like Instagrams, podcasts, and blogs that you can actually follow. I know the Urban Indian Health Institute is in Seattle, so that was kind of where I got services, as well as I applied for like internships or various other careers that you're looking into. And they're always posting, they're always giving like free merch on Instagram, which is super cool. I mean, who doesn't love free stuff? But right here in the area in the Santa Fe is like Changing Woman Initiative, and that's kind of something that I have just been participating in. They've always had free workshops, and some of it I'm pretty sure is virtual. So definitely check out any of it. And if you guys have an Instagram, definitely let me know, and I can like follow you and like provide the resources that you need.
Okay, and then we just wanted to open up this time to you guys and see if you had any questions or comments about anything we've presented or said today, and just kind of give you guys the space to also talk back with us. So yeah, any questions or anything, feel free. And then also here's all of our contact information. with emails and phone numbers in case you need to get a hold of us, or you just have any questions, or you just want to connect, because we are here for you as your mentors and as people and as friends. And we are accessible and open to talking and sharing space and sharing stories, or just being there for one another. So don't be shy. Feel free to reach out. Yeah, I think that's mostly all that we had for you guys today too, also, unless Gerald or Angelina wants to say anything else. So
I just wanted to thank the Aseto'ne program here for everything that they do for us. I've expressed that previously, that I'm really grateful for the things I learned here. And I just wanted to express my gratitude to Reno and Lisa for always being supportive and everything in that aspect. So thank you guys. And I wish you guys well, all the students here, and of course our my fellow mentors here. I know we have good visions and we have good plans for what we're doing. And I'll always continue to pray for you guys that you achieve those goals in a good way.
Mhm. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you all for the great presentations. I really enjoyed them.
I was
Yeah,
really glad to
it's
hear you.
amazing.
I was really glad to hear you bring up accessing what is available in an urban community, because I think that having gone through college that way myself, and my whole career has been in an urban community, but working with Native people and Native students, is that you have to give yourself some grace and some space to be around that Indigenous love, even if it's not your very own tribe, because you just stand to gain from that experience. I've been fortunate to be invited into many other tribes' ceremonies, and it's always a great learning experience, and it has always benefited me in some very important ways. Um, Maybe sometime I'll do a talk on Indian medicine, and having been a patient of Indian medicine. But for today, I just am so proud of you students. All the work that we do, sometimes we work long hours to get caught up. And I am of the older boomer generation, so learning all of the software it takes to host an online program has been incredibly overwhelming to me. Now, you all, I've seen my grandchildren just take a tablet and start doing stuff, and I could sit there for an hour and not even know how to turn it on. So this has not been my comfort zone. My 30 years of teaching, I never wanted to teach online. And now look what I'm doing, building stuff for people that in an online format and trying to make it native, the best that we can with the technology. So thank you, Jared and Angelina and Autumn, for bringing a heavy message of being native in higher education. Lisa, do you want to close?
Yes, sorry, I didn't mean to. I was trying to say thank you. Yeah, Angelina, Autumn, and Gerald, you touched on a lot of information, and I think that our students are really going to benefit from every perspective that you all have brought in. Again, Gerald, for the blessing this morning. Not many people would do that, and thank you for sharing that.
Sorry, there's a bee in here. It's tripping me out.
Well, yeah, thank you guys for being here today. And just to let you know, your presence and your studying does not go unseen. If you take naps in the library, kudos to you. I used to do it all the time. But I just want to say thank you so much for being in this safe space with you all. If you guys want to connect, feel free to shoot me a text message, an email. If you need resources, I definitely love speaking of higher education. This is why I do what I do right now. But thank you guys so much.
Yes, thank you,
Yes.
Ashkehe. Thank you for being here. Sorry about all
Thank
the
you.
technical difficulties of like leaving and coming back.
And I believe that's a wrap. You guys have a good afternoon.
Okay, thank you.